Hello, welcome to The Route to Success, where we explore the power of hope, resilience, and innovation through the journeys of remarkable leaders. In this episode, we're sitting down with Jose Santiago Vazquez-Rojel, leader of Local Secrets, a global platform transforming how we experience travel. With more than 15 years in tourism and technology, Jose shares how authenticity, storytelling, and a deep respect for place can reconnect people to the true essence of travel. This conversation uncovers not only the business insights behind a global vision, but also the hope that drives meaningful innovation into a homogenized world. Jose, thank you so much for coming. Just so you know, I love to travel and I love authentic travel. So I feel like this is going to be a really good conversation. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for your invitation. It's really a pleasure being with you today to discuss about travel. I also love travel, so I'm here.
All right. So you've built Local Secrets to restore authenticity in global travel, which I think is so fabulous because so often we are blown away or brainwashed by these all-inclusive, glitzy vacations that are over the top, when in reality, I think the secret of really good travel that restores your soul is when you get off that beaten track, when you experience the real community. What inspired you to believe that preserving identity could also become a scalable business model?
Well, actually, it has lots to do with the authenticity of each destination. Why do we travel? We normally travel because we want to find out different things. We also want to travel because we want to relax, or because we feel attracted to a destination, a culture, history, etc. So it's not that hard to scale this spirit. And what we have today, I think it's very common. Lots of people see is like certain vulgarization of the tourism. It's all becoming like identical postcards everywhere. You go to different cities and you have exactly the same tourist offer, and that's just not authentic. The authentic of each destination is how people live, what's the history and the culture behind that destination. So that's what I think. It's very scalable. It's very easy because the world, fortunately, it's different. Equality is something good in certain senses, but in other senses, we need to find out different things, also to reivindicate our culture in one point, but at the same time to learn about other. So I don't think it's that hard to scale that feeling that everybody has.
And I think what you said is so true about how we need to learn about other cultures, because the more we learn, the smaller the world becomes, because we realize we're not different. Everybody has the same things, right? And so it's easier to relate to other people. It's just our culture that differs. So hopefully what you're doing will also help unite the world and move us forward, to that next era of peace and working together. You mentioned that authenticity starts with a story, and I do love a good story. How does storytelling cultivate both trust and hope in tourism and in leadership?
But I think storytelling transforms the information into inspiration. When you hear about someone, a story about how he managed to start a business or why they started this business, it's a sort of inspiration that wakes up inside of you also the need to do something about it. Like, for example, nobody starts a business just because of that. There is always a story behind why you started a business. Independently what the story is, when you get to know this story is when you really get the value that is behind the story. And at the same time, you will have a respect for that. Something very common today, and this is a little bit the beginning of the tourismophobia that we are seeing in some places, that crowded places, it's because people don't respect what they see when they go abroad. They feel like they're not home, they don't have to respect, they don't have knowledge about what's behind that, so they don't feel they need to respect those places. And I think that is frankly badly interpreted by insiders when they see people coming from outside not respecting their culture. So in a way, storytelling helps people to get together and to understand each other. So that's what keeps people moving and even challenging sometimes.
Mhm. Agreed. Agreed. How do you get the stories for your travel?
So again, sorry.
How do you collect the stories for your organization? Do you go and experience them and write them, or how do you collect them?
Well, we have different ambassadors in different destinations. Every ambassador approaches the story, and it's a personal interview. We sit, we start talking. How did you start this business? Tell me about you. What was your project? What were the difficulties you were going through? So in the end, it comes out a real story behind a business, regardless if it's successful or unknown, is a valuable story that tells you what is the perspective when you start thinking about starting a business, creating a business,
Mhm.
whatsoever. We live in a world where marketing covers 100% of the space, the room in the beginning. So everybody thinks that when they will start up, they will be fantastic moments and they will be doing great and they're going to be loved by everyone. And unfortunately, that's not the truth. The truth is that when you start a project, you are alone. You start alone. And little by little, you are start creating your community and you start effort day by day after day by day. In the end, you gain your targets when you do all this job, which is not easy. And through the way you are making mistakes, you have to learn out of your mistakes. You have to be perseverant. You don't need to, or you can't abandon. So through these stories, you are also getting true lessons on how to run your business in this case.
True, true. Okay, great answer. After COVID disrupted your industry, you turned uncertainty into opportunity. What role did hope play in your decision to create something new instead of just walking away?
Well, the truth is that everybody was, I think, a lot of confusion during COVID, no? Because we saw that the world was stopped and then suddenly it was very uncertainty. Even some scientists lost credit because there were some people talking about something they had no idea. Those influencers that were just giving messages. So, in my mind, this crisis was like an invitation to innovate. So I saw it like, no, this is a crisis. Crisis means needs to change. So it's an end point. When crisis appears, that means it's an end point of whatever it was before, and now you need to renew in order to rewind. So I believed from the beginning, I knew travel would return. And there were so many lessons coming through COVID. First of all, humans, we needed each other because one of the first things we missed was human contact. Uh, at the point you are facing a true a critical situation, you realize exactly what is important and what is not important. I think that when the whole world faced COVID, so the amount of people who are dying, a lot of the sad situations, we could realize what was really authentic good to go and what was really irrelevant. So in this case, uh, I saw that there was a need of getting something more human, more authentic, more realistic, and it was just in these darker moments when opportunities and good ideas come out. Now, how to solve this? So I thought, and I always had the vision that after COVID, people will start traveling like crazy because when you are locked down, you cannot get out of the home. There are so many things you can't do. Next day you can. It's like you accelerate 100%, and then you want to do the opposite. So that was my vision. My vision was that after COVID, with people will start looking for. Because it was also happening during COVID. I don't know if you remember, a lot of people started to do cooking lessons. They started to cook,
Mhm.
and suddenly they discover how they could cook authentic cookies. Instead of going and buying them to the supermarket, you can do them at home, have your own as it used to be. So somehow I went back to the past and reinvent the future with a solid and important basis from the past. So that was my vision during COVID, that people will love to go back, but also looking for something more authentic, less superficial, and more enrichment.
Agreed. So, Local Secrets operates in 180 destinations. What lessons about resilience and collaboration have helped you sustain that global growth while keeping a local heart?
Well, it's a complex question because it's all based on local trust.
True.
If if you don't know another country, another destination from the beginning, there is not a full trust. Indeed, when we travel to a place we don't know, initially we have no trust at all. So the fact of, or we do have trust, but let's say that we are cautious about when you're going to a new country, etc., because you never know, you don't want to be involved in problems. So local trust is very important. The fact of having an ambassador who's local, who's selecting the destination, who's selecting the businesses that are going to be part of the platform, the fact of having some local help is like when you have a friend in another country and you're visiting this
Mhm.
country, just call him and say, hey, can you tell me about how to do, what to do, where to buy things, or what's the best places to visit, etc. So local trust is a very important thing, and this is earned through authentic relationships. I do have an authentic relationship of trust with my ambassadors. For example, I know they are professionals who work in tourism. They know the needs of travelers. They also know how tourism has evolved on their destinations, and we have a very transparent and a long-term commitment, which means that our relationship, or trust, or makes it true, authentic, and trustworthy for others that travel. Indeed, in our platform, you can see what is available in your destination, and then you'll have an idea what is going to be in another destination. So you already know there's the same spirit, the same values, and the same kind of offer.
So, just a question I'm curious. How do you choose the ambassadors? How are they recruited?
Well, I have a long experience on the international tourism, and I have a lot of contacts everywhere. I could say I have like these big amount of business cards when traveling, but in most of the cases, I always had a very good relationship and personal relationship with people that are professionals in tourism. So most of them come from my personal network, and some others have meet them on events or international events where I have got to see them, their background, their story, and out of that, I see if they are profile to be an ambassador, which is not really hard, to become an ambassador of Local Secrets. You need to be in love with your destination. You need to know your destination. Being in love means you also want to take care about the authenticity of your destination. You see tourism as a way to share and not only gain. I mean,
Mhm.
tourism is business, but it's also hospitality. It's also international friendship. It's also interculturality. So when you find professionals that are along this profile, it's kind of easy to involve them and work because we share same values, and that's also very important. And we also want to do business, which is not contradictory to the fact of being a good host, and also someone who really wants to spread your culture and your values worldwide too.
For listeners navigating change or reinvention, what daily practices or mindsets help you stay optimistic, creative, and true to your vision?
Well, I think uh, one of the main values could be curiosity. You need to be someone curious.
Yeah.
Not enough. I mean, to be honest, I am not enough curious. I wish I was more, but still I'm very curious. And the more I realize things I don't know, the more I want to know.
Mhm.
The truth is, there is one sentence that I love, which is at the time you may want to change all you know by the half you don't know. I could change that right away because curiosity is one of the main factors to be able to 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 do something new every day, new about people, about markets, about cultures. I think curiosity keeps your creativity alive. That's one of the first things. The second thing I would say would be reflection. Take time to think, to pause, and reconnect with the purpose. And this is something I do very often when I travel in planes. I am one of those that do not open the laptops in the plane. I don't have a sensation not doing nothing. I take my flight very calm, easy, and I think. During the flight, I use it to think about, to make reflections. And this vision, this time gives me more vision and see the whole picture, instead of being like when you are in everyday working, you don't see the whole picture, you see what you have in front of you. So reflection is also something very important. It's part of the ingredients. You need to do it very often, and it's not easy because you need to disconnect completely from what you're doing every day and just get some step backs a little bit and then see the whole picture. And then a very important thing, I think, is to be grateful. Gratitude is also very important, and gratitude with everyone around the project, in the team, but also ambassadors, and especially the local business that they trust the platform and they want to participate. I think that gratitude transforms a lot of challenges into learning opportunities sometimes. And I think being grateful is something also very important.
So I like how you say you take your time on the planes to sit and reflect. I take my dog walks to reflect. I leave my phone at home and it's just me and my dogs in nature. And that's where I get, like you said, that perspective, because I'm not looking at a problem and I'm moving. So everything just becomes clear. And I think you're right. We don't take the time as a society enough. We're always plugged in. We always feel that need to be posting what we're doing, see what somebody else is doing. But the secret to life and growth is taking those moments, right, to escape and see the whole perspective, like you said. And then that's when your curiosity builds. That's when you can be grateful. There are some walks, just being completely honest with you, if I've had a rough day or a rough meeting, the way I get through it is I'll take my dogs for a walk. And rather than trying to reflect, because sometimes that's just too hard at that moment, I just start listing everything I'm grateful for. And that slowly just changes your perspective and leads you to a place where you can have that peace to reflect.
And
Jose, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I would even add something. This happens in 2 steps. First step is when you make your reflection on your walk on my plane. And the second part, the solution, to me, I know this is a stereotype, but it happens in the shower.
No, there's actually science behind that.
Well, to me, I make these reflections. I see these I analyze things in the plane.
Right.
But when I am in the shower thinking, I have a totally other mood. And there it comes out options, solutions. Mm-hmm. So when you are making the analysis and you are thinking about, and you go deep down and you try to see exactly at what point things are going in a wrong direction, sometimes the fixing point comes to me in the shower, mm-hmm. in another time, not in the same time. Because I think it's when you wake up, you're conscious, is when you work on that, and then suddenly mm-hmm. your unconscious is working, and suddenly perhaps in shower time is when my unconscious comes out with the idea. Most of the time.
It's called water therapy. And the reason that it works for so many of us is because we can really connect with the water and we can just focus on that. And that's what gives the clarity. So what you do, there is 110% science backing that up. Jose, I have to ask, and I'm sorry, but I'm just curious. I'm not sorry. I'm very curious. What is your favorite travel destination?
Oof, I don't have a favorite one, but I can tell you. Depends on the time of the year. And but I have been in Northern Africa, in Egypt, Morocco, Tunis. I loved going back on time. Sounds occidental life. It's in terms of evolution, social evolution, is totally different. So when you go to those places, you see the origin of humans. Even if today you go to, for example, Marrakesh in Morocco, you walk through the Medina and you see the guys scrolling with his iPhone. So doesn't make much difference from where we are, but the society itself still has a lot of feelings that are no longer part of our society. So depends on the time of the year. I love to go there. I am also a nature lover. I know landscapes. I think the US is a fantastic destination for that, one of the best of the world. Also, Argentina. If you go to Argentina and you go to San Carlos de Bariloche, which is in the Patagonian area, you fell in love immediately. You see huge mountains, lakes, snow. It's pure nature. Everything's so wild and so peaceful at the same time. And depending on also, if you are in springtime, I love to go to Europe and visit romantic places. I don't know, Czech Republic, France, Spain, Italy, Portugal. For gastronomy, I definitely recommend Portugal, Spain, Italy, and France. Every destination has its gastronomic beauty, but the richest one definitely are these countries. And I assume that I was really fascinated about Asia, specifically Japan, but I don't know much about other areas on Asia that I am willing to discover soon. But for what a modern society should look like, Asia is one of the destinations we need to go. If you want to, let's see, have a look through the window, what is about the future, you can go to Asia. If you want to go back to past, you can go to Africa and see where it will come from, etc. If you want to have a nostalgic view also, you can go to Europe. So every destination has something to offer. I don't have a favorite one, but among all of them, the destinations I like more are the ones who are islands. When you when you travel into an island, you discover how local people are totally different from when they are in a different place. And I think it has a lot to do with the feeling that you are isolated and you see others coming. So the attitude of people living in islands are different. And when you go to an island, you kind of mimetize this kind of attitude. So you yourself become that kind of person. And it's a good feeling because you feel also full of plenty. I think it's a good sensation when you go to a good island, of course.
I agree. I love islands, and I didn't understand why I didn't until you said it. It's that sense of isolationism, and almost like life has frozen, and you can experience something so different.
Exactly. You see people from outside the island differently than when you are in the island, and that's a good sensation.
It is. Jose, so if people want to connect with Local Secrets, obviously the best way is to go through your website, or would it be social media?
Both. You can go to our website. In the website, they will find out good ideas, suggestions where to travel. We always are also promoting seasonal events like now, Thanksgiving, how to spend a nice Thanksgiving, or where to find authentic Thanksgiving tradition, Christmas markets, or for the next year, Carnival or Easter. Always good ideas to find there. And where you can also find all these local places that may be in your town that you ignore, and suddenly you discover something that has been open for 30, 40 years and is there and is authentic, and you can go and discover and see how still keeps the values. So you can do that in the website or in social media.
Jose, this has been a lovely conversation. As a person who loves to travel and I just wander, I spend my life wandering, trying new things constantly. I think we are kindred spirits in that, because I actually don't have a home. I just travel, and that's my home, is just to travel and explore everywhere. And I think it's a great way to live. I want to thank you for your time and your insights. And I want to stress to people that the wisdom that you shared with us is so strong and powerful and can be applied to any occupation, any part of your life. It's not travel specific. So thank you for sharing such powerful wisdom. And if there's anything I can ever do, please don't hesitate to ask.
I will do, definitely. I mean, when you meet someone like you with your same values and also in love with travel. Travel means discover, you know,
Yes.
and discover is one of the things that keeps human evolving. Evolution it makes
Mhm.
part of our destination, and there is nothing permanent in life except one thing, which is change. Change is permanent. The only way to flow with change is discover new things, get adapted, flow with the change. And I think traveling is a must to do thing to get out of your comfort zone, discover new things, and also to bring to your world things that are really amazing that are outside in other cultures that could help you to go through and to find yourself also, because every one of us could see ourselves in a culture as a different person. And there is always a meaning of that. And you can look for that meaning going to another culture, another country, and find out why you are the way you are, or why do you feel the way you feel. And sometimes, it's like this.
I agree. That was so wise what you said. You learn so much about yourself and you see reflections of yourself and then you grow. I think that's the best part of traveling is discovering those parts of yourself that you wouldn't have found anywhere else.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Jose. I'll be in touch soon and I look forward to further conversations.
Okay. And remember, if you want to go to a nice Spanish restaurant in Miami, there is one next door here. It's called Cala Millor. It's truly like a Spanish experience, like if you were in Spain. Really good.
I will look into that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.